back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video. Welcome to day 10 of 12 days of Bookmas. I can't believe we only have 2 days left. Like, that's sad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sad about it. But on the bright side, we're doing another reaction video, and it's actually my last reaction video. I know, so sad. But we will be reacting to the 10 series that I wanted to reread in 2021. I had a lot of plans to do some rereading this year, and I think from what I can remember, I did pretty good, but I guess we will have to find out. I am so grateful and thankful for you guys that have been staying with me through the entire 12 days of Bookmas. We only have 2 days left, and I hope that you guys are excited because I have a really exciting video coming to you guys on the 12th day, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some reacting because that's what you're here to see. So let's do it. All right, so up first we have the 50 Shades of Grey series, and I did reread this. I was going to make a video about it at the beginning of my booktube channel, and I just didn't feel like it was something that you guys wanted to see. Overall, I think the series is super problematic and has a lot of issues, but did I still enjoy my reread? Enough. I enjoyed it enough. I have a interesting attachment to those books that I'm sure most people don't have, but well, maybe some people do have. I read them in high school a lot of times. I think I read each book at least 5 times when I was in high school, and I had a slight obsession with them. It was the wrong time in my life to be reading those books for sure, but did I read them? Heck yes. I also really enjoyed the movies. I know you can totally judge me if you want, but it's the truth. And rereading them this time around, I definitely saw them through a different lens, and my opinion of them definitely changed through my reread, but I still think that out of the 3 books, I would only reread the third book again because that's the only book that I felt was worth the entire series. I am happy that I reread it, and I'm not sad that my thoughts have changed about the books since reading them as a teenager, but I think that I needed to do it in order to really understand why the books were so talked about and so problematic, because as a kid, I just didn't understand. So that being said, I did read it, and I don't see myself rereading it again anytime soon, but who knows, I might get the itch and do it again, but I highly doubt it. Wow, it's a throwback to when I still had those covers, but I wanted to reread the Divergent series. I did start my reread of this. I read Divergent, and I do really want to continue on with my series. As a whole, I really enjoy this series. I remember loving it as a kid, like loving it, and being obsessed with the movies and being so excited for them to come out. I think that the first book was as good as I remember it being when I was a teenager. I didn't enjoy it as much probably as a teenager because I just, my rating system and the way that I read books was a little bit different, but overall I still really enjoyed it. I am really curious to move on with the rest of the books because I know that there are so many people out there that hated the 3rd book and consider it to be not part of the series. They hate it so much, but I just don't quite remember the movie or the book, and so I'm really interested to see. Did I say movie the whole time? I think I might have. Oh well. I'm really interested to see why everybody says that because I just really don't remember. So I'm excited to continue on with the series, and I will definitely try to finish it up in 2021. All right, up next is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and I did reread this, and I did really enjoy it. I think that this is probably my favorite reread that I've done this year because it just was so good. Like, this is probably the book that holds up the most from my childhood because it still made me laugh, made me cry, made me feel all the feels, and it was so good. It was such a good series, and rewatching the movies was a delight. I still need to rewatch the last 2 movies, but overall it was just a really good time. I'm really glad that it was a part of my childhood, and I'm really glad that I brought it into adulthood with me because it was just a fun ride all around. All right, next we have another problematic series, and that is the House of Night series by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. I did read the first 2 books in the series, and they were okay. They were good enough for me to continue on with the series, but not good enough for me to want to pick up the 3rd book at this point. Not that I don't want to pick it up at all, I just haven't been pulled to it, compelled to pick it up for a TBR. I think that I had a lot of love for this series. It was the first series that I really binged when I first started reading, and it was when I was really hardcore in my vampire stage. I wanted everything vampires all the time, and this was definitely a part of that phase for me. But I think that it has some really problematic issues. things that have to do with slut shaming and fat phobia and queer, like the talk about gay people in this book is just unnecessary. But when you think about the time that it was written and the things that were allowed back then that just aren't okay now, it's kind of understandable, but not really. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt and just trying to enjoy my reread of the series, but that kind of stuff has hindered my experience just a little bit. So I will continue on with the series and hopefully finish it up, but when I'm gonna do that, I don't quite know. All right, we have Fallen by Lauren Kate next, and I didn't enjoy my reread of this first book as much as I thought that I was going to. The book overall was just super slow. Nothing really happened until the last like 30 pages of the book, and it just didn't feel very climactic overall, but I do still want to continue on my reread of the series. I think that overall, I think I could really enjoy it, and from what I can remember growing up, the books got better as the series went on, so I'm hoping that that's the case for this one, because the first book was quite boring and it was kind of a disappointing read for me, especially seeing as I loved the series so much growing up, and it just wasn't, it wasn't a love this time around. Okay, so my paranormal game was strong in high school. We have another vampire book, and unfortunately I did not get around to this reread. I haven't even touched Vampire Academy since I bought all of the books in the series, and I really need to get around to reading it. I loved those books growing up. I know that the romance in this book is very problematic, but I have not reread it, so I can't tell you what my thoughts are on it today, but I remember loving it in high school, like loving it, probably more than I should have. But if there's anything that you've learned from this video, I like taboo relationships. I think that they are an interesting thing to read about. So, there's no reason, there's a reason why I liked it in high school, and so I'm really curious to see what I think of it nowadays. Does it hold up? Is it still amazing? Will I still love it as much as I used to? Because I think this was one of my favorite series outside of my romance phase. Aside from Twilight, this was definitely second best, and I just, I really want to know. I want to know what 2021 Kaylani will think of 2011, maybe, Kaylani, because I might have been all wrong and it could just be hot trash. We'll find out. Okay, Cassie Clare is back. I think I've talked about her in every single one of these top 10 videos, but we have Immortal Instruments. I do really want to reread it. I read, I think, books 1 through 4 in high school. I never finished out the series, but I do really want to kickstart my reread. I've just been stuck on the infernal devices for a little longer than I would have wanted, but I will make that change in 2021, I promise. I don't really remember too much about the Immortal Instruments, actually. I remember that there's Jace and Clary and Simon, I think his name is, and that's pretty much it. I do remember that one of the books had a twist that I didn't like, and I'm not going to say anything in case you haven't read it and you still want to read it, but I remember being very mad, but I don't remember anything more than that. And I really want to see what the hype was about back then, and still to this day, I feel like the series is highly revered. Is that a word? I've used that in several videos, and I don't know if that's a word, but we're going to pretend like it is, and we're going to move on. All right, then we have the Anna and the French Kiss series. It's a companion novel series made up of 3 books. Anna and the French Kiss, Lola and the Boy Next Door, and Isla and the Happily Ever After. And I did read Anna and the French Kiss and Isla and the Happily Ever After. I just have Lola and the Boy Next Door left, and I will have finished out my reread of this. The books are okay. They're not amazing. It's definitely not a series that I will see myself rereading after this, but I'm glad that I reread them now. I like to see kind of where my head was at when I was reading those books in high school, because I was reading them with rose tinted glasses. I read all the romance that I can get my hands on because that's all I wanted when I was in high school. This is getting real deep. Where did we go with this? Anyways, I read them with a different intention in mind, and now I read them to review them and see what I really think of the content, and I think that has changed a lot of my experience of these rereads. So not a series that I will reread after this, but I'm glad for the experience nonetheless. All right, then we have Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Percy Jackson and the Olympians? Is that the series called? I don't know. Is that the series called? Is that what the series is called? I am failing today. I did read the first 3 books in the series during a 24-hour readathon that I did in April, I believe, and I have not picked up the series since. I love the series. I love the series so much. I think that Rick Riordan is a mastermind at creating books that have awesome characters and just make you fall in love with the characters regardless of what they are doing. And that's how I felt about the books the first time I read them. That's how I feel about the books now. I think they are fantastic, amazing. I still recommend them to my customers on a daily basis. And I'm so happy that I reread the series. I cannot wait to finish it out though. I definitely remember the last 2 books being my favorite in the series actually. So I'm surprised that I haven't been pulled to pick it up more, but I will definitely finish it out in 2021 because it's only 2 books and I have no excuse. So I'm just gonna do it. All right, apparently that was the end. That was all of the 10 series that I wanted to reread in 2021. Honestly, I don't think I did too bad. I think that I started every single series except for Vampire Academy, which, you know, is not bad. That's pretty dang good. I'm taking another win on this one. You know, my goals, I didn't really focus on them this year. I set them in the beginning of the year and then completely forgot about them and kind of like mindlessly ended up reading most of these. But next year for sure, I'm going to set my goals, stick to them, and really, really like strive to make sure that these goals are being met every single month. So, but overall for 2020, I am happy with what I did. This is the first year I've been back into reading since 2015. So, you know what? All of it is a win in my book. So I'll take it. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed these reaction videos. I hope that you enjoyed this video in particular. And that is the end of these reaction videos. But the next 2 days of 12 Days of Bookmas are going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for those. But that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!